Hello, BKFK listeners. We have a very special episode today where I and my dearest daughter, Ruby, interview the author of Dork Diaries, Rachel Russell, and her daughter and illustrator of Dork Diaries, Nikki Russell. Do we need to introduce the multi-award-winning Dork Diaries? I'm sure many of you have read these brilliant books about the life and misadventures of middle school students Nikki Maxwell and her best friends Chloe and Zoe. Rachel's books encourage tweens to embrace their individuality and always let their inner dork shine through. We speak to Rachel and Nikki, and then Ruby will perform the start of their latest book, Dork Diaries number 15, Tales from a Not-So Posh Paris Adventure. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Yeah, we're very excited that I think you're in Germany.
We're living in Freiburg, which is in the south of Germany.
Wow, south of Germany. That is fantastic.
We're a father-daughter team. You're a mother-daughter team, which is so special.
Mother-daughter team.
Yes. Well, I'm really excited to meet you. It's so special because I read your books when I was younger. I remember going to the library and just all of the books had my name in them multiple times.
Oh, wow. So yeah, you checked them out. Huh?
I really identified with Nikki because I also thought I was a bit embarrassed to be a bit of a dork. You know, it made me feel very comfortable and I really liked the characters. And also Brianna, because I have an older brother and I actually also remember being a bit of an annoying younger sibling sometimes too.
Exactly.
I was probably that annoying little sister too at some point.
And if I may add, look how beautiful both of you two dorks grew up to be young women. And you're not so dorky. You're just gorgeous and smart. And that's why I think kids get bullied, because they're special and they're passionate and they're super smart. Most of the kids that I've met that are dorky, they're just really passionate and they're friendly and they're just kind. And so it's weird that, and maybe they get picked on because people maybe perceive them as weaker or something. I don't have any idea. I just know that it happens. And I keep hearing what you've said too. We have 20-year-olds and 21 and 22 and 23. Those are the girls that were 8 years old or 7 years old when they started reading. And we're getting emails as they grow up and graduate from college and, start to get married. And they're saying, thank you. And a lot of what I learned from Dork Diaries, I use in college or I'm using in the workforce, which is just how to deal with difficult people.
I think also because your target age was so young, that feeling so comfortable and feeling confident about yourself, I think you can learn a lot from that at a young age. And I think that helps you later in life too.
It's wonderful.
Nikki, you're the illustrator. And the main character is called Nikki too. So did you name the main character after your daughter, or are there maybe any similarities?
Yes, I did. As a matter of fact, Nikki was mainly, I have two daughters, but Nikki was more so the inspiration. I think she was a little bit more traumatized than her older sister by kids reacting. And their dad is like 6'4". And so they inherited his tall genes. So they were always the tallest child, growing up. They got teased for that and bullied for that. And then she was kind and sweet and bubbly. And she's doing fine now. And a lot of people mistake her height that she's like a Paris runway fashion model now, because now when you're 5'11" and beautiful, now she has the last laugh because yes, she was tall and skinny, but now she's just plain gorgeous. But I did ask her permission to name the main character Nikki.
Are there any aspects of dorkiness which you feel should be celebrated?
Most definitely. So dorks tend to behave differently. They are open-minded. They're big-hearted. They become friends with pretty much anybody who is friendly to them, whereas people who are drawn to cliques, they only let you in if you're cool enough, if you dress a certain way, if you act a certain way. Dorks tend to branch out and not follow one certain way of doing things. And it's for that reason that they tend to get bullied and made fun of, because they're a threat. They're a threat to people who try to behave a certain way. And for example, Nikki Maxwell has Mackenzie Hollister, the mean girl, treating her bad because Mackenzie's jealous of how free-spirited and friendly Nikki is. Mackenzie could learn a thing or two from Nikki because Nikki is her true, authentic, adorkable self.
And I think most dorky people are very, very smart. The guy that invented Apple, I think he was kind of, teased and called dorky. A lot of the innovators of the day that are bringing some of the best advances to mankind as we know it, were smart and they were like very hyper focused and passionate about either science or computers, and they were called dorks as well. So some of the major advances are headed up by dorky people too. So.
Alrighty, let's take a little break and hear Ruby performing the beginning of Dork Diaries number 15, Tales from a Not-So Posh Paris Adventure.
Friday, August the 1st. Well, it looks like my 15 minutes of fame are finally over. Yes, it was a mind-blowing experience to be the opening act for the Bad Boys, a world-famous boy band. I was heartbroken, along with millions of their fans, when they ended their tour early to take a break. Now I'm stuck at home for the rest of the summer, and my life is pretty much back to normal. Normal meaning excruciatingly boring. So, for a little excitement, my bandmates and I agreed to do a free concert tonight for our local summer fun fest. Hey, the $100 gift cards they offered us from the cupcakery made it impossible to refuse. We were performing after Pickles the Juggling Clown and before my neighbor, Mrs. Wallerbanger, and her fierce squad of elderly belly dancers. We're pros. Like, how hard could this gig be?
I get dressed up to go downtown. I'm all messed up on a Friday night. Not really here for a good time. I'm all messed up on a Friday night.
I slipped, and the theater curtain fell on top of my head. Well, this is a total disaster. I hope we still get those cupcakes.
Girlfriend, your mic is still on. People can still hear you.
Great show, Nikki. Your music career is so over.
Mackenzie?
OMG. I could not believe this was happening to me. Unfortunately, my frenemy, Mackenzie Hollister, has a really bad habit of popping up at the worst possible time. Like a huge pus-filled zit that magically appears at the end of your nose. On your way to school. On picture day. I quickly pulled the curtain back over my head. All I wanted to do right then was dig a really deep hole, crawl into it, and die. I had a complete meltdown. My worst nightmare had come true. Or had it? Whenever I get super stressed out about something, I always have a bad dream about it. Like the time I had a horrible nightmare about my birthday party. I dreamed that Mackenzie accidentally pushed me headfirst into my birthday cake. So it was very possible that my chaotic concert catastrophe was only a nightmare. And at any second now, I was going to wake up in my bedroom, drenched in cold sweat, totally relieved that it was all just a figment of my imagination. Please, 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 let all of this be a really bad dream. Saturday, August the 2nd. When I woke up this morning, I slowly opened my eyes. The sun was shining and the birds were chirping. OMG, I felt so relieved. For 2 seconds. Then the horrific memories of that concert came whooshing back in a huge tidal wave, like someone had, flushed a toilet inside my, brain. Unfortunately, it wasn't all just a bad dream. I remember every single detail like it was yesterday. Wait, that was yesterday. Our concert was surreal. I could not believe the stage curtain actually fell on us. It was like we were suddenly covered by a humongous, freakishly dark cloud of, doom. I remember thinking the only good thing about this very bad situation was that it could not possibly get any worse. But I was wrong. Things got a lot worse. Someone made a public announcement that our performance was a total disaster. and then she accidentally wondered aloud if we'd still get those cupcakes as promised. Talk about total humiliation. Like, who would even say such a cruel and heartless thing like that about children? Well, okay, we're actually teens, but still. And when I cautiously peeked out from under the curtain, I totally freaked out. Mackenzie Hollister was in the front row recording the entire thing with her cell phone. And get this, she had the nerve to walk right up to me and shove her cell phone in my face without my permission, like we were BFFs about to take a selfie or something. Calling Mackenzie a mean girl is an understatement. She's a scorpion with blonde hair extensions, designer shoes, and pink glittery eyeshadow. Mackenzie is super cute, glam, and deadly. I have no idea why that girl hates my guts. Anyway, now Mackenzie has a permanent record of the most humiliating thing that has ever happened to me. I'm such a klutz. I totally deserve to be kicked out of the band for ruining our show. But my bandmates just said, accidents happen, and it wasn't a big deal. I think they felt sorry for me and were just trying to make me feel better. Hopefully, we still get those gift cards for cupcakes. My friends definitely earned them. My BFFs, Chloe and Zoe, are supposed to meet me at the cupcakery tomorrow at 4 p.m. to pick them up. But I'm so embarrassed about what happened, I'm seriously thinking about just hiding out for the rest of the summer. In my bedroom closet. Note to self, remember to stock up on batteries for my flashlight. I think we'll stop there, kids. If you want to find out what happens next, go and get the book. I promise you it'll be worth it.
In your new book, Nikki obviously has this huge disaster when she's on stage, and she says she has a phobia called phobias, the fear of falling off a stage and knocking down a curtain. I just thought that was so hilarious, how people can develop these weird phobias. And my question is if either of you have any phobias that might be funny.
Well, I don't know that it's a phobia. It's not really funny. I do not like spiders. So when I see a spider, I'm like, ah, a spider! Oh, and another weird thing, whenever it rains a lot, then there's worms that come, and then the sun comes out, and I always feel so sorry for the worms. So I will go get a little stick and I'll pick up all the little worms and put them back in the grass, because if they're on the sidewalk, it's going to get dry and hot. And as soon as the sun comes out, they're trying to crawl. So I get a little stick and I help all the little worms into the grass and the dirt. That's a weird thing about me that I never talk about much.
I think those worm parents probably read their children bedtime stories about this fairy godmother that comes once in a while.
Yes, I know, that will come and rescue you when you're struggling. That's very sweet. That could be maybe a children's picture book or something.
Nikki?
My phobia, my mom can probably tell you, I'm a very particular eater. I always am looking at the expiration date. If the day is so much as one day off from the day it expires, I'm like, nope, I'm not eating it. I don't want to eat it. I only eat what's fresh. I am not touching it. So I guess that's my phobia.
Expired food. So that's going to be called phobia. Fear of eating expired food.
Exactly.
Dork Diaries seems to be full of disasters. Have any of these disasters actually happened to you?
In book one, Mackenzie has this fabulous party, and she is inviting pretty much everybody she thinks is cool enough to attend. Nikki does not get invited. That happened to me too. There was this wonderful, amazing, popular, cool girl in elementary school that I just adored. Everybody adored her. She was just so cool. And so she was having this wonderful party. I think she even had a pool in her backyard, and backyard pools were such a big deal back then. You go swimming, and the weather was nice. So she basically invited everybody but me. And it was just so great.
Yeah. So I think probably the most traumatic thing that happened to me that we put in the story, Mackenzie was irritated at Nikki Maxwell for some reason. And Nikki was trying to make her way. And this was when she was still really new. So she was still sitting in the lunchroom all by herself. She didn't have any friends. But when she walked past Mackenzie stuck her foot out, tripped her, and Nikki fell. And then she didn't hurt herself falling, but there was spaghetti and jello and whipped cream, and it all ended up just all over. And it was a complete mess. And that happened to me. It was a disaster. So, but I would say throughout the series, there's now 15 books. And I'd say we've probably used several dozen things that actually happened to us in real life that are sprinkled throughout the book.
In the last book, and generally in Dork Diaries, the cupcakery seems to be a very important place for Nikki. And my question is, if you guys went there, what would your dream cupcake be?
Oh my gosh, what a wonderful question. Mine would be a moist, delicious, melt in your mouth, extra double dark chocolate cupcake.
I love it.
I love dark chocolate. The frosting would be chocolatey. The cake would be chocolatey. There would be little pieces of chocolate on top, like chocolate candies, just anything to make it as decadent and yummy and chocolatey as possible.
I think my favorite cupcake would be birthday cake themed. So it would be yellow or white, very moist, and it would have a lot gobs of white frosting, and they would have all the little rainbow colored sprinkles on top, much like you sometimes see on a birthday cake with the sprinkles, and maybe you put a candle in it so I can light it and sing happy birthday to myself, even though it's not my birthday.
Personally, I think Nikki described my ideal cupcake ever.
Yes, she said.
That was perfect. What do you think is the most surprising or fun response that you've ever received from kids as a feedback or an idea?
So the most surprising thing I've received, we've been doing, next year will be like 15 years. And the most unusual request that we've ever gotten was in May of this year. And it was like schools in the United States get out maybe the first or second week of June. And this was like maybe the third week of May, we got this letter and it said emergency in big red letters. And when we opened it, it was a little girl and she said, "Here is a draft of my book. I need it published before the end of school. You have 2 weeks." And I'm like, really? So we have to take, and she had it was probably 20 pages of little handwritten, and she wasn't a very good writer, so it was really messy and hard to read. She had actually drawn pictures, so we couldn't actually publish it for her, but what we did do is put it in a manuscript format like we do our books when we send it to our publisher. So I managed to go through and I edited like 2 chapters of what she wrote, and I typed it out really neat and correct. And then I sent her little doodles to Nikki, and Nikki actually did full-blown Dork Diaries style artworks. Like she had one of herself, and I think there was a new girl coming to school, and she had the girl, and they were all sitting at their desk. And then she invited the girl over, and they were like playing Barbie dolls, and then they had lunch. So we sent her 4 or 5 professionally illustrated Dork Diaries style illustrations based on her little doodles and drawings. And I sent her 2 or 3 chapters of edited material where I rewrote her story. And we sent it to her and we got it to her within the 2 weeks as well. So
that is so
3
sweet.
pages of an actual manuscript of her story, professionally edited, written, and illustrated. So that would be of the 14 years I've been doing this, that was like the most surprising thing. And usually we say, oh, we're very busy and we would have loved to have helped you write a book, but we can't really do it. I'm like, I'm going to do this one time. This child was so just passionate and she had written it out and sent her doodles and things. So we actually sent her like 30 pages of her manuscript.
That's excellent. Wow.
I wonder if she ever got it published.
Yeah, I know. You never know.
A lot of our listeners love drawing. Have you got any tips for kids that want to draw Dork style?
Well, they can look in the book, choose their favorite character or favorite thing from the book to draw, and they can practice it either by putting a piece of paper over the book, maybe a thin piece of paper that's easy to trace with over the book, and then tracing the picture. And then they can also try drawing the artwork themselves by looking at the picture and breaking it up into little parts. So start by drawing the outline of the face. And then after you do that, try drawing the eyes. And after that, the nose, and then the mouth. And it's actually my goal to maybe post a little something on TikTok or wherever our viewers can see it. And I can do a little drawing demo of how to do that. Oh, yeah. Yes. If you go to dorkdiaries.com, we have a game that's called a Dork Maker. And it's basically where you get to create your very own character. You get to choose hair for them. You get to choose their outfit. You get to choose their facial expression. You get to choose what they're doing. Are they taking a selfie? Are they eating? Do they have a diary with them or drawing supplies? You can also choose their background. So I also encourage our fans to go to our website and give that a try.
That's brilliant. That is so sweet. I'm going to do that later.
Different shapes of faces, different types of eyes and nose, and you click everything you want. If you want the hair long and straight or curly or in a bun, I think there's sunglasses and hats. So it's almost kind of like a paper doll thing, but it's all digital. And when you're done, you can make girls and boys and different ethnicities. And they can wear a sweater if it's winter. They can wear a bathing suit. It's just so fun. So that's an easy way to create a Dork Diaries character. And you can do yourself too. You just pick all the attributes that look like yourself, and then when you're done, you'll have a Dork Diaries character that looks just like yourself.
You guys are so much fun, but we're going to say goodbye. Thank you, both of you, Rachel and Nikki. It's been so much fun.
It's been so much fun to talk to you, and I'm so glad I finally met you. I've been dreaming of this since I was very young. I would have never thought that I'd ever be able to speak to you.
The feeling's mutual. We love talking to our readers and, hearing your thoughts about our book series, or that you liked and enjoyed our book series. So this was wonderful for us as well.
Okay, guys.
Bye-bye.
Hey, guys, if you like this episode, please share it with your friends and family. It is one of the best ways to support BKFK Storytime.